So, when we come home from the grocery store and we got a lot of fruits and vegetables and meats, I think freezing your meat items is probably one of the best things you can do. I don't always recommend it with fish, but in our house, if I put something in the refrigerator thinking I'm going to cook it the next day, a lot of times we'll eat out the next day, and maybe I won't get to it and it will go bad. So I freeze almost everything and lay it out, usually the night before, or sometimes the day of. I get it out and thaw it out. But I really believe in freezing, most of the meat that you bring home. But this is an investment. It's an investment with your money and with your family's health. And with the food you buy, you want it to last, especially your produce and your vegetables that tend to go bad a little bit faster. You need to really work hard on preserving them so they do last, as long as they can. And I have some great tips. I know this video is long enough, but we're going to get going right into them. I'm not using my tripod tonight because it's just not that kind of night. I'm pretty tired. Now, one thing that I do have out that is not new is some eggs. Now, I bought a bunch of eggs, as you saw, but I have these, and I want to boil some eggs for the week, so I figured it's the perfect time to do that because I'm already doing this. So I've got some water heating on the stove, and we are going to go put these eggs in and let them boil gently. I don't wait for it to come to a boil. I really don't find that necessary. In they go. Just be gentle. Now I'm going to be making some egg salad. My son loves boiled eggs. I'm not going to be making the egg salad tonight, but these can get boiling while I do everything else. So the first thing I'm going to work on now, fruit-wise, is this pineapple. Now, I tried to get a pretty ripe one, and all I'm going to do is take off the top, and I'll show you that, and then I'm going to take off the sides, leaving it standing up. And then I'll cut around the core. I'm not just going to try to core it. I'll cut around the core, chunk it up, and I'm going to use this larger container. Now, if Jackson was taking it to lunch, I would certainly put it in something a little bit smaller, but we can put the majority in this, and if he wants to take some one day or, getting some out, he can use another bowl, but I'm not going to separate it all out, mainly because our refrigerator is really full, and I'm already going to use a lot of bowls for the grapes and such, so I'm going to put this in just a larger one. And I'm just going to take the top off. And by the way, before I take that top off, I'm using a rimmed plate to catch the mess, and I'll kind of move things off my cutting board that I plan on working on in just a few minutes, and just make sure I have plenty of room. I forgot, I do have my mini tripod, so I got that out. So I'm just going to take the top off. Now you want to make sure you have a very sharp knife, and I will kind of lay it on its side to get through it just a little bit. You might be able to break it off. There we go. And this is what I found works the best. If you just take it off down the side, just try to get the outer layer off with as thin as possible. See that? And that's one of the best ways to peel a pineapple. Sometimes, if it's a really busy week, and I know I'm not going to have time to prep like this, or I just know that I'm not feeling good, or whatever's going on, I think buying it pre-made is completely fine. It's definitely better than the can. I love canned pineapple too, so that's completely fine. But fresh is best, and sometimes it's worth the convenience of paying the grocery store to do this for you. But we like fresh. My son loves pineapple. Just go back and get little pieces off that maybe remain. We've got a garbage can right over here. That's where I keep throwing it, in case you're wondering. Smells amazing. Again, if you don't have a good knife, it's going to be really hard and it's going to feel like a lot of work. So make sure your knife is sharp. I'm going to rinse off my plate. Okay, we'll just take off the outer layer on the bottom. Cutting around the core. Not even going to worry about the core, we're going to cut around it. And I'm going to show a little of this on film, but you'll get the point, and we're just going to chunk it up. So cut straight in, let it fall. Again, you'll feel where the core is within the pineapple. There we go. So, look and make sure you don't have any big eyes on the outside. This is going to be hard not to eat. I had to have a taste in just a minute. Now, I got a little bit of the core on this one. You can feel it's a lot harder. So you just kind of cut that off. You could save it for smoothies, certainly. I have a bunch of pineapple saved, but you could save it, chunk it up, freeze it, and put the core in smoothies. You're not going to be able to tell a difference in a smoothie. It's a good thing that cooking school taught me you don't waste anything. And then I'm just going to chunk it up. Let me get my container. And just you get the point. I usually don't cut on glass, but I don't want a big mess on my cutting board. So tonight we're making an exception. So in it goes. I'll do the same with this one. And I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, so I got all the pineapple in the container. I'm going to take the juice, pour it right on in there. You don't want to leave that out. Put the lid on. And the fresh pineapple, it's delicious. I'm ready for the upcoming week. So next up, I'm doing the grapes. All I'm going to do is wash them and put them in a couple of these containers, and they will be ready for the week. Alright, even the pre-washed stuff, most of the time you should probably wash. And just to make sure, you know, I mean, there's sometimes I don't like to re-wash the pre-washed spinach, but it is good to take them out and wash them and make sure there's really no bad, you know, pieces of fruit, because you know how mold and stuff spreads fast, and you want to catch that. So if you were just to throw the entire container in your refrigerator, you might not notice that one of them might be bad. So give them a good wash and a good shake out, and then we will bag them up. So right now I have my drying mat on my cutting board. It's because I have my colander and it will keep it from getting really wet. And I'm going to take these beautiful grapes and put them in some containers. Now again, we don't need really small containers. Jackson's lunchbox can fit this size, and I don't have a ton of room in my refrigerator. So I am going to break them down though. And if you don't have little containers like these, you can find them at the Dollar Tree for like $1. You could certainly use baggies too. So in they go. Just broke them up over 3 different little bowls, and Jackson can take one, Scott can have one, I can have one, or I can eat them all because I love grapes. But super, super easy, and these little containers are amazing for the price. They really are. I love them. Perfect. So, grapes done. Now let's move on into the apples. So I've got a lot of apples. Some of them are going to be going into the refrigerator, and some of them are going to be going on the counter. So there's my grapes, and those will go straight into the refrigerator, and then we'll get started on those apples. So I took the bag of apples, and these are going to be going in the fruit bowl, and we have some that's going into the bowl in the colander kind of thing into the refrigerator, but we're going to start with these. So that, these don't have stickers because they came in a bag, but clearly if they had stickers on them, you would want to take those off, and we are going to go clean these really, really well at the sink. So in our house, we have this little brush. It has this long handle. I think I got it at the Dollar Tree. You can see it says fruit and veggie only, and that's to clean our vegetables. So everybody knows that apples have a lot of pesticides, and those pesticides are linked to cancer and all kinds of other really bad things. So it's important to get them clean. Now you can use a vinegar solution. I just use water. I'm going to put them on the same drying mat that I just used on the cutting board. And I'm going to do that for all the apples. So I got the colander over here, and I'm just going to go do the other apples and oranges. I'm taking the stickers off the oranges. Now, I don't worry a ton about the oranges unless I'm going to be zesting the skin, because, you're eating the inside, you're eating the flesh. So unless you're zesting it, I don't really feel the need to break out, like I said, the vinegar solution. You can also buy pre-made fruit cleaning solutions, but nothing works as well as water. And I just quickly give them a good scrub down, and don't worry about it as bad. There we go. More apples. There we go. Okay, moving on. So there's all my fruit drying. I'm going to take a towel and just kind of dry them up a little bit. I'm going to take some of the apples and some of the oranges and put them in this strawberry bucket that we got that's ventilated. It's perfect for the refrigerator, and I add, about half usually. We like our apples cold most of the time, but I do keep some out for Cooper because, I think he likes them room temperature. He seems to anyway. So I put those in the fruit bowl, and these will go in the refrigerator. It's not as pretty, so it doesn't matter, but it's ventilated and it's perfect for fruit. So there we go. They can see it. It's right up front, and I am hoping that, maybe they'll see these and make a healthier option. Or a healthier choice, that is, instead of maybe junk food. So I have this at the front of my refrigerator, definitely where the kids can see it. We have so much in the refrigerator right now that I don't really have room for it anywhere else but on the shelf. And I want it open where air can get through, and I want them to be able to see and grab it. So that's why I kind of have those out. The other fruits are right here because, again, my refrigerator is pretty full. So instead of a fruit bowl this week, I'm using the platter, or one of my platters that is, and I've just set out the fruit. So I put the apples that we just cleaned. For the bananas, if you tear them apart, they will not ripen as fast. I really don't know why. I just know that's the case. So always take your bananas apart when you get them home. I don't clean these in any particular way. I just take the stickers off. We're eating the inside. We're not using the skin for anything, and I'm not washing bananas. But I do set them out, again, for healthy options. Now, I'm going to add a couple pairs to this tray, but I'm going to also add a couple pairs in the refrigerator, because pairs can go bad kind of quick, and I'm just going to add a couple, and then I'll bring the other ones out, once those other ones are ate. So the pears, they have a very delicate skin. So get the stickers off, and then just take a damp rag and just wipe off the skin. And I do wipe it off pretty good, because I eat the skin. But I don't scrub them really hard. Pears are extra sensitive. They have very thin skins. It's hard to get the stickers off sometimes without damaging them. And I just don't scrub them. Most of the time, fruit that I am going to eat the skin on, I buy organic, which these pears are, because it's, going to be eaten, and it matters what they put on the outside. So I'm just adding a couple pears on the fruit platter, and that's it. So, as you can see, I have lots of healthy options for my family to pick from. And now we're going to go on and get the rest of the veggies ready to go in the fridge. Actually, before I put anything in the fridge, I'm going to go ahead and make Cooper's squash. So this steams right in the bag. You just poke a couple holes in it, throw it in the microwave, and it's going to steam. And I'm going to get it done so I can just add it to his food whatever night I want. Otherwise, I'll just, be feeding him really hard squash, and he won't like that as much. So I'm just going to follow the directions and get it made while I'm getting everything else done. Also, we store Cooper's dog food in a container so it's easy to measure out, and making it easy for the week, we just go ahead and fill it up when we get the bag. And it just sits right here in the corner. Add our scoop back to the top, and it keeps his dog food very fresh, and no bugs can get in there at all. Okay, so all of this fruit and vegetables, that is clean. So I know it don't look it, but I just scrubbed the outside of the grapefruit, the spaghetti squash. I wiped the outside skins on these delicious looking pears, and I also kind of gave my broccoli a bath. So these items right here are going straight into the refrigerator. There's no need to put them in bags or anything else. The spaghetti squash will be fine just sitting on a shelf. These will be fine just sitting on a shelf, as will the pears. So those are going right in, and I'm going to get them out of the way. For the broccoli, I just put it in a large Ziploc bag with a paper towel to absorb any moisture, and there is a little bit of moisture from washing it off. And if you use cloth napkins, that would certainly work. We like paper towels, though. Get all the air out of the bag, and then right into the refrigerator they go. Now the squash is done, and I just put it in a bowl, and I'm just going to let it cool. It'll probably cool for a long time before I put it in the refrigerator, but it is cooked and ready for any of Cooper's dinners. So this week I bought two sweet things, the cheesecake and the pecan pie right here, and I can make a kick-ass pecan pie. But I was lazy and it just looked good. I was really hungry, but I want to freeze it, and I want to point something out. Even though it says used by September 24th or 14, if you freeze it by that date, you're good. You only got a few days after you thaw something that's past expiration to make sure it's ate up or cooked or whatever, but as long as you get it froze by the use by date, you're good to go. So I was just scared that with the cheesecake, this would probably be too much, and I don't want it going to waste. So I'm going to pop it in the freezer, and again, we'll get it out whenever we're done with the delicious strawberry cheesecake. So I just took my fresh ginger and I'm sticking it in a baggie. It will go into my freezer because, actually I'm going to put it right here, but I have a different bin that it goes in. But you can just cut off or grate off whatever you need. And a piece of ginger this big will last me a very long time in the freezer. So the eggs are done. I'm just going to put them in this bowl. I'm going to put the lid on it, and then I'm going to deal with that tomorrow. Make egg salad, and then we'll have a few other eggs too. This is going straight in the fridge. Cooper squash is finally cooled down enough. I can put the lid on and pop that right into the refrigerator. You could do that with vegetables that you steam on Sunday nights. You could have them completely ready where all you have to do is zap them in the microwave a few minutes and they're completely ready for dinner. That works too. But these will be perfect for any night I want to add squash to our dog's dinner. So this English cucumber is packaged up perfectly, and I'm not going to mess with it at all. It's already been washed. All I do is cut off the piece, you know, how long of a piece I think I will need, and then put the rest in the Ziploc. But right now, the way it is, like vacuum sealed, is perfect. So I'm going to leave it alone. It's going to go straight into the refrigerator like this, as is the pre-washed organic celery. Now, one of the big tips to make your week easier, if you know you're going to be using celery, is when you bring it home, wipe it down, wash it, do the same thing, put it in a baggie with a paper towel or a cloth napkin, whatever your preference is, and get it ready for the week. This is pre-washed. I'm not doing all that tonight. This is also really, you know, sealed in there, and it's completely fine. Once it is open though, I will go ahead and, like I said, put it in that baggie with a paper towel. So with these green onions, they are in like a bag, and I don't like it because the bag is already kind of puffed out. I'm going to go ahead, rinse them off really quick, put them in a Ziploc bag with a paper towel, and that will preserve these too. You could also stick them in water, just like a plant, because they have roots. I don't want to take up that much room in my refrigerator with a glass like that, but I will go ahead and get them ready for the baggie. Okay, so they are in the baggie just like the broccoli was. I gave them a rinse. I dried them off real quick, added a paper towel so any moisture would be absorbed, and these are ready for the refrigerator. You know, anytime this week I can just pull one out, it's ready. For these potatoes, I am not going to wash them all because I'm going to be using a lot for potato soup, but if I bought just a few, I would go ahead and wash them. If you're going to be using the potatoes a lot that week, it might be easier for you to go ahead and wash them the day you bring them home. But for me tonight, I am not doing that. I'm just going ahead and putting them in the pantry. They are, you know, ventilated with the mesh back, and we'll use them throughout the week. So let's move on into the meats now. For the chicken, I had a large pack and it had 6 breasts, and I knew that I was going to use 3 breasts per meal. Now, if you're single or you are only, you know, feeding 1 or 2 people, you can definitely wrap them individually, which is smarter if you're not, you know, feeding like a, you know, a larger family. But 3 breasts for us is plenty for most meals. So I like wrapping them in the press and seal. This is really good stuff. I love it. And then I just put it right into a hefty Ziploc bag and put it right into the freezer. So both of these fit in one Ziploc, so I did that, and then I put that Ziploc inside of another. I labeled it, and these will go in the freezer, and they're really protected and won't get freezer burned, but we'll eat them long before that would ever happen anyway. But those are ready, and that's how I get my chicken done, especially when I buy larger packages. It's always best to split it up before you get it home and just throw it in the freezer. Just take the extra time, split it up, because otherwise you're trying to thaw out, you know, more chicken than what you need, and it's just harder that way. So separate it and package it up really, really well and freeze it until you're ready to use it, and make sure to label it with the. So the beef is kind of different than the chicken. Now, if I get a big package of hamburger, I will definitely sort it out. But this hamburger here, I'm just putting in a baggie because I don't think that the packaging from the grocery store is good enough for freezers. I just don't. So I just go ahead, I pop it into a Ziploc, a large one, get the air out before I put it into the freezer for an extra layer of protection. The beef stew meat barely fit, but it did fit, and I got it closed. And now these are ready for the freezer. I'm not going to leave them out just because if something happens and we want to eat out, or maybe we want something different. I don't have meat going bad in my refrigerator. I just hate wasted foods. So let me take these over to the freezer, and I'll give you my last few tips before finishing up this very long video. So over here in the deep freeze, I add our meat. Now, I will explain the organization later, but for a lot of stuff, if you have big packages, it's going to take up a lot of room. And if you don't have a deep freeze like this, you might not have room to spare in your, refrigerator or freezer. So, I usually take things out of the packaging. Now, these really don't do well out of the package, and the package isn't that bulky. But when you have bulky packaging, definitely take it out. And what I mean by that is taking, like, let me show you. This is like, here we go. I can do this. Maybe. Come on, open up. Like taking the little biscuits and sandwiches out of the big bulky boxes. I keep mine in a shoebox bin. You can certainly just put them on the shelf. But the corn dogs, that come in big bulky packages, the little mini corn dogs, I like to take them out of the boxes because it gives you more room in your freezer or even your refrigerator, depending on what you're needing to store. So I love these containers. I'll explain more about my freezer organization later. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing this video and seeing how I get everything ready and everything in the pantry, where it needs to be, kind of, and getting things ready for our pets, and how we get things ready around our kitchen whenever we get home from the grocery store. So thank you so much for watching. You can definitely check out my blog at kjaggers.com for more pictures and information. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. If you have any comments or questions or tips of your own, we'd love to hear them. I'd love for you to share those in the comments, and I will see you guys really soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.